And the Dallas Mavericks win the NBA draft lottery, followed by the Spurs, 76ers, and the Hornets. It's one of those moments where you're watching, and you're watching it almost slowed down. I'm watching, I'm going, oh my goodness. So Utah's out, and Washington's out, and New Orleans is out. I'm going, okay. And let's go to break. And then they come back. I go, I'll be damned. Dallas is going to win the NBA draft lottery. And we gave you a heads up yesterday. Here is Fritzy on the show. All right, Todd, you are going to manipulate the draft lottery. What is in the best interest of the NBA?
My initial thought was from Durham to Charlotte that Cooper stays in North Carolina and the Hornets get the pick, but I'm actually going to go with the Mavericks after the fans got blindsided by that Luka deal. I'd like to see Flag go to the Dallas Mavericks.
All right. Okay, you kind of picked two there, but you did, I guess, finally focus on the Dallas Mavericks. So I'm going to give you credit. In fact, I text that to the Danettes. I said, Fritzy got it right-ish, and Dallas gets their man. But, there's going to be people who say conspiracy theory or why would you, do something, go out of your way to help the Dallas Mavericks. As our good buddy Vincent Goodwill says, I've watched the lottery, picked up the ping pong balls myself to see how they're weighed, etc. Not only is draft rigging in that way really hard to do, it's also a federal crime. We don't want to, have something like that get in the way of our conspiracy theories. But when you do think about it, there are times when you go, things that make you go, So Patrick Ewing going to the Knicks, Derrick Rose going to the Bulls should get a little more emphasis here because they had like a 1.8% chance to get him and he goes to his hometown. LeBron goes to his hometown. The Dallas Mavericks don't deserve this, but then they get Cooper Flag. And I'm thinking Cooper Flag is there for the lottery. And he's got to be thinking, please not Washington. Please not Washington. No offense to Washington, D.C., of course. But, he goes to Dallas, and you do have some veterans there. I think that will help. I don't think the focus will necessarily be on just him. You get AD, you get Kyrie. They got some younger big men, too. And I think he might be able to ease in a little bit better with a place like Dallas as opposed to Utah where he'd be singled out, and certainly with Washington, D.C. But the Mavericks win the lottery and let the conspiracy theories resume. Yes, Paul.
They were immediate yesterday, whether online or just walking into people outside my house. People are like, oh, this is classic NBA. They convinced the Mavericks to quietly trade Luka to the Lakers and do him a solid on the back end. And, I mean, these were grown men walking up to me.
I know. Yes, Eden.
The conspiracy theories were so prevalent that we actually did it on our show yesterday with that clip you just said. If we were to manipulate the draft, where would we put them? That's how far ahead everybody was on. So let's see how they rigged this.
Yeah. And I didn't even think, but I saw some of the threads that said, I see what the NBA did. The Mavericks did the Lakers a solid, gave them their future with Luka. Well, we got to do something nice for them. We're going to give them Cooper Flag. Also, the speculation on where Giannis is going to go, he's just said he would be open to a trade. He'd be open to it. Now, that's a polite way of saying, you can trade me or we're going to trade me. I'll decide where I want to go. But, hopefully it'll benefit you guys because the window is closed. Dame time is over. That clock stopped. Now with Giannis at 30, and there were a lot of analysts who, they had trade scenarios for the Bucks and the San Antonio Spurs. And I was like, why San Antonio for Giannis? If I'm San Antonio and I have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle was the rookie of the year. I got Victor Wembanyama. I just build it. Just add a little bit more. You're going to need another veteran. You're going to need somebody who's probably in their late 20s, early 30s. And then, that'll be a steadying force that you're going to have. I said from the time that they drafted Wembanyama, just get a point guard. Well, they have a couple of them. That will, help his growth. But they have the second pick in the draft. And Ace Bailey might be the guy. Ron Harper's son might be the guy. And I did watch a little bit I watched more Rutgers basketball than I should have. And these guys, while they're great, they didn't even make the tournament. They have potential. Potential means that you haven't done anything. And I think that's the scary part of, okay, you can add them. Is that really going to change your fortunes? And San Antonio has 2 draft picks. I think the 2nd and the 14th. Maybe you can pair that together. Maybe you can put together a package. Maybe you could get some pieces there. But I think San Antonio, quietly did well last night. And, we go back to the teams that lost, the teams that had 14% chance. Is the lottery fair? Well, is tanking fair? That's the problem I have, that you had teams that tried not to win. Maybe they weren't trying to lose as much as they were trying not to win. I know it's semantics here, but, we've gone through a lot of iterations of the NBA draft lottery, and I don't know what is considered fair, but is this 5 consecutive years that team with the worst record didn't get the number 1 pick in the lottery, in the draft? But I don't know what the probability of that is, of the worst team is not getting the number 1 pick in the draft.